Well, I have brought some main points from the zero draft contribution, the Brazilian zero draft contribution, and a few of the oppositions coming from the civil society. Something else that I would like to present today is some points, the highlights of a document produced by civil society during a 2-year process called, promoted by the Green Economy Coalition towards Rio Plus 20. So many networks and different actors from different sectors of civil society gathered since last year in a series of activities and events towards defining a concept for green economy and discussing the lateral subjects that concern green economy throughout Brazil. So in all regions there were small groups building, trying to build consensus on a definition, so that next year, on the next 6 months, we could walk towards Rio Plus 20 with a stronger position from the part of civil society. So we put together, it's less than 15 days ago, there was the second national meeting, and after this meeting we came up with a document, and I brought you the highlights of this document also. Don't know if I'm following the system here, or if it's just like short positions. So how much time are we supposed to talk? Can I have like something like 10 minutes? Or is there a limit?
No, not that much. Try
5
to
minutes?
be very brief, please.
Okay, so maybe I'll do it in parts then. Okay. The 4 main points of the Brazilian contribution to the zero draft are first, the inclusion of poverty eradication as an essential element for sustainable development, highlighting its human dimension. It seems to me, from what I have heard since I arrived here, that we pretty much agree on that. I think all nations have come to a consensus on that. The second is the full consideration of the sustainable development concept in the decision-making of the economic, social, and environmental pillars, so as to reach the largest synergy possible among the 3 dimensions of sustainable development to overcome the prevalent sectorial visions, after 20 years of the definition of sustainable development as a world priority. The third is the strengthening of multilateralism as a clear message for the adjustment of United Nations and other international institutions to sustainable development. This point is actually, our document is organized in 8 priorities, and then inside these priorities there are sub-priorities. And among the 8th sub-priorities, there is this one of the strengthening of the participation of civil society actors in the multilateral discussions, not only in the national level, because this has already been happening in many nations have this system of allowing civil actors to help the building of the national position, but the Brazilian government thinks it would be much better if we could also act on the multilateral forums. And the fourth is the recognition of the ongoing international reorganization, reflecting on the global governance and the change in the country's levels in the global governance structure. And Brazil also recognizes that in its 40 chapters, the 21 objectives are still very important and remain a reference for the development programs. One big thing that we are still trying to talk about in civil society, and we knew that this was going to come in the government's position, is the so-called change in the economic system, the economic development system. So the government says that Rio Plus 20 presents an opportunity for the change of economic system. But civil society asks, what is the kind of model they're talking about? So we should change, and then what kind of changes are they talking about? Exactly. So this is also something that we are working on defining. I would say that the three main definitions that we would agree in terms of terms, but Brazilian civil society doesn't have it clear what they mean, is by limits when it concerns nature, the change in the development model, and okay, forgot the third one. But there are these things that if we don't really go deep into the question, it seems like we are totally we totally agree with the government's position, but it's not so. We still have a lot to deepen in this subject.